There you go. There you go. What? I'm
Jumping on
learning,
that
my friend.
countdown, getting that
I'm learning, my
countdown.
friend. I am
Hmm.
learning, my friend. Okay, hold on. Let me I want to get out of this. There is a way that you can put the comments on the screen. And don't tell me I forgot. Don't tell me I forgot how to do it.
Yeah, your guess would be as good as mine, and I don't have much of a guess at the moment.
Okay. No, it's not that. It's just something. It's something that like boom, you just automatically. Or maybe I should have did it before the. Let me see. Oh, I knew it was right there. Under comments, show comments on the screen. Okay. MC Jonny T.
Mad scientist. What's good,
Welcome,
man? What's good?
welcome, welcome. Okay, so as you know, we are doing a live, but this also has to be. This is going to be put on the radio. So
Got it.
I gotta do the
Got it.
radio intro. Let me do the
Mm.
radio intro. All right, where's it at? Where's it at? And I gotta read it too. Okay. Hey, what's up? It's your boy Mad Scientist on the all new Power 97.5 LA. Today we are just talking music. We bring you the vital information about music production, promotion, and distribution every week, right here. Right here, where? We on the iGlobal Radio app. Download the app from your favorite app store or go to the website, iglobalradio.com. That's iglobalradio.com. See, now that I have a guest, I'm like all nervous
Take
that
a
I
deep
couldn't
breath,
even
man.
read.
It happens. It
'Cause I
happens.
read, it's a script that I read, at the beginning of the show. And usually it's like really, really smooth. But today, you got to show out in front of company. And I did
Well,
not show out.
it happens. No worries. We good. You guys just head over to iGlobal. Go ahead and download that app. You know what I'm saying? iGlobal, baby.
I,
If it ain't iGlobal, it's the wrong global, baby.
that's
Not
right.
B Global, not C Global. Got to be iGlobal.
Download the
Power
app.
97.5 LA Monday through Friday, baby. 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. if you will.
Yes.
Come on.
And you did that without reading. See?
I had a little help, man. There's a little crawl that's running across the screen at the bottom, and I just kind of just jumped on a little bit of that.
Is that what they call it? A crawl?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I decided today that I'm going to really, really start taking this a little bit more serious. Like because I watch a lot of content, online. I'm always watching it. It's just doing it is something totally different. But something came across my email today, a certain music video.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Mm.
So a music video came across my email today, and I found it to be really, really good. To be really, really good.
If we're thinking about the same music video, then yes, it was done really well. No question about it.
No question.
No
Yeah.
question.
So I'm like thinking like video creation is fun.
It's supposed to be. It's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. And some people can't stand the process. But if you're finding that you're enjoying the process, it's going to translate to the people who view it.
Okay. Your mic sounds really good, by the way.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Pause. All right, well, let's go ahead and get into what we're going to talk about. But before we do that, I want you to give a little introduction of yourself. Let everybody know, because it's like 2 million people listening. 2 million people. That's right. I said it. 2 million people. So introduce yourself.
I'm but a humble man from humble beginnings. It all started in a small little town of Compton. You might have heard of it. It's where it was born a long time ago. Yeah, classroom teacher, MC, rap guy, nerd extraordinaire. You know, I just live this life where I'm conflicted between choosing exercise and snacks. My struggle is real. So then I figured out a way to have the best of both worlds. I figured that if you're jogging on a treadmill while you're snacking at the same time, well,
it's like refueling as you lose.
yeah, you can't lose. Well, unless you're trying to lose weight. So either way, man, rapper, hip hop enthusiast, in love with the culture of hip hop, been forever, and yeah, I've been blessed and fortunate enough to secure recordings with some notable names across the industry. I don't want to do too much name dropping, but people like Redman and Method Man, and
that's right.
Xzibit and Ricky Rose and
that's
Snoop
right.
Dogg and
you know,
and that's a pretty big name. That's a big name.
I forgot to put Snoop Dogg in the description.
It's all
he
good.
Did do one with Snoop Dogg.
Yeah. And then this new one that's gonna be dropping real soon, featuring Keith Murray. And you know what so many of those songs have in common? This one producer.
What?
Yeah. Oh, dude. So like,
talk about him.
I think he's one of the illest producers on the planet. On the planet. This producer who made the beats for all these cuts, the mad scientist. Oh, he just happens to be the host of today's. Yeah, yes. But for real, all streams matter. So, you know, head on over to those places and, you know, do the thing. I need my 1/8 of a cent and I need it now.
That's right. That's right. Hey, we are truly an example of it is who you know.
Yeah, it really is. And not only who you know, but who you know will probably return a call to. It really does help.
Exactly. Return a phone call, do some beats on time. And it be fire.
Yeah, right. Right. Yep. It works.
So now you said you were born in Compton. So the question always is, was it Dominguez Hospital?
It was Dominguez Hospital.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say either Dominguez, St. Francis, or Martin Luther King.
Dominguez.
All
right.
Yeah. I was in St. Francis.
Oh, shouts out to St. Francis. You know, borders Linwood, the woods of Lynn.
Right.
So it's like Compton-esque.
Let's go Compton.
I'm not gonna take your Compton away from me though.
Please don't.
I'm not gonna take your Compton from you. Because some people will look at mine and be like, well, I mean, was Dominguez really Compton too? I mean, Compton College was over there, but then the next X is like Long Beach Boulevard. So then it's like
it is Compton. You know, it is Compton. You know, I don't take my Compton away because I barely make it in.
No, but the cool thing about yours is that your building is still there. Mine was demolished decades ago. My building is gone.
Yeah, sadly.
Yes.
Sadly, that's what happens when you're born in Compton.
Nothing remains. Nothing remains.
You know what I got to do? I got to learn how to do is, and those who are on the radio, you guys can't see me. But if you do ever want to see me, you can always come on the YouTube channel, Mad Scientist, MADD Scientist, and look me up. But if you just want to hear me on the radio, that's fine too.
Oh yeah, as long as you got the iGlobal radio app, you know, from your favorite download store, you know,
you can take it anywhere.
Mad Scientist to go.
Yes.
the midday madness show.
Exactly.
Power 97.5 LA.
The hardest thing to do though is because when I first started doing this video, I used to just look at the computer screen because the camera was on the computer screen. But I went out and upgraded and got this high-tech camera that's supposed to be like make me look really good. And it does, but it's hard to look at that camera. Just be staring at it. I'm always want to look at the screen.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, I've got the same dilemma with some of the other ones that I do too. And because of where I have my camera positioned and where my screen is, the screen is just a little bit, it's behind it. So the vision is like the screen is above the camera. So I find myself like looking up. too much or
Oh,
in
okay.
the wrong way sometimes. So it's tricky. You're trying to, because you're just inclined to see yourself. You want to,
Yeah.
yeah, you're just inclined to like look in that direction, and it's like, no, you just got to look right into the camera, pal.
And I want to see you. Like I'm looking, pause, but I'm looking at you, pause, as as
We're
as you
gonna
naturally
pause.
would.
We pausing through this whole episode today.
I know people be like, his lips are kind of glistening. All right, let's go
Pause.
ahead. I know. Let's go ahead and get into this. I was a little hesitant about discussing this because everybody has discussed this album, and I mean everybody. It's been overly discussed. So I remember calling you earlier today, and I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know, man. But then I looked at the hot takes, and the only thing going on is Aiden Ross, manager, calls Kai Cenat the
Okay.
N-word.
Mm-hmm.
Nicki Minaj is calling the FBI and the CIA on podcasters. Some guy from TV from out of the some unknown person. I don't even know who it is, but some unknown person. And she's calling the CIA.
Yeah, a lot of time on her hands, I imagine. I mean, a lot of time. So yeah. If those are the hot takes, yeah, let's just go ahead and roll this one on over. Let's get a Clipse. Let's get the Clipse another run.
Right, we gonna pick this dead horse up.
Well, you know what? I want to say I think you wrote an eloquent piece in about the way that you experienced the album. I think you present a very compelling perspective on it, and one that it's I just don't think that I've heard anyone review it in the way that you did with your piece that you wrote and with your blog that you did on that you published last week. And I think you had some very interesting points in it, your take of what you felt the album was. And I think you went deeper than, oh, it's got banging beats. And I thought it was going to sound outdated because these fools ain't teenagers and in their 20s anymore. You know, like you really hit home on some things from just more of a scholarly perspective. If there's a way to apply scholarly principles to a hip hop album,
I'll find it.
That has Pusha T in it and and Malice in it. So
crap.
So I think it'll be cool to have a conversation about it from like different standpoints, and then your take on it in terms of what your takeaways are from just a production standpoint, being a creative on the other side of things, from the technical side of music as well too.
Well, today is about you.
I really thought it was going to be about you.
No.
I'm ready to interview you. So when you wrote this,
nah. We had a pre-production meeting about this. We're gonna talk. I'm gonna interview you, sir.
No.
The reason why. I know. The reason why is because a lot of the people that listen to this particular show, right? The whole focus of the show is music marketing, and part of the music marketing is the music production, right? And so this discussion will come from that, under that that umbrella of music marketing. And I think that your perspective will be important because you are a lyricist. This is your lane. You know, you've actually done the work. You've actually and at this point in time in your life, you actually have a perspective that's going to be valuable, especially to those who at some point in time want to be in your position. So they listen to me all the time talk, and I always tell them I don't do how to, I just give you my perspective. So today we're not going to really do a how to, but more of your perspective. And so the first thing we want to talk about is the lyrics. Like I have three. I have the lyrics, I have the production, and then I have the cultural relevance. So I'm going to ask you different questions as it relates to songwriting first, then production, then cultural relevance. And I'll chime in too as well. but for the most part, I think it'll be important for people out there who are creating music, producing music, who are lyricists to, understand it from your point of view.
Mhm.
So let's start off with just the songwriting. How did you feel about the songwriting on this album?
You know, I think they were intentional about the lyrics that they wrote, and I really think they engaged in a true songwriting process. You can tell that a lot of these records, they were written in the presence of each other or in communication with each other.
Exactly.
I don't. If they did the whole, all right, I'm gonna just send you the Pro Tools with my part on it. If they did that and pulled this project off, doing that, them cats is walking on water as far as lyricism and music goes. But I got the feel of a lot of intentional lyrics. I felt like it was a balanced approach, from an area of personal stuff, missing parents and loved ones and their family. Of course, there's going to be some stories about, previous life, with drugs. Yeah.
Oh, they did that.
Yeah. So there are definitely some stories around that too. But
let me chime in a little bit, because I want to make sure I don't, because you're making so many good points, and I'm trying to memorize all the points. But first thing, let's go back and really focus in on the writing together. They had an interview with, I want to say, GQ, but I could be wrong. But they had an interview in which they did say, and it was all three of them, Malice, Pusha T, and Pharrell together, and they did mention that they wrote this album together, including the music. Like they were watching Pharrell do the beats.
Okay.
In fact, they went as far as to say they used to go to Pharrell and say, "Okay, go down to the basement and give us the ones that people rejected," right? Which was very interesting, because I was like, "So who rejected grinding?"
Right. As I'm thinking about the whole first album, like who would have rejected any of those?
Right.
But I digress.
But I do understand, because Pharrell had his style is at this point in time it's normal, but back then it was kind of unorthodox. So talk about that importance of being able to like write together as a cohesive team, as opposed to just emailing your verses in, or just getting a beat already done with everything on it, and you just kind of like sitting there just writing to that and then just sending everything back. Talk about that.
I think it's really important to the overall integrity of the project. It's these days, well, music's always been about vibes, but it's heavily focused on vibes these days. And the unfortunate reality of music is that the lifeline for a hot project, unfortunately, only gets a quick blip. So it's crazy to think that, like, man, this came out last week and it was talked about by everybody. Now there's nothing else to say about it. Like, no, there's a lot to still be said about it.
Right.
Even just looking at these perspectives, I think a hip hop enthusiast or a music aficionado, even just a person who just appreciates music across any genre, if you look at the music that resonates with those people the most, and the commonality, the theme is going to be cohesiveness. There was a team of people who put whatever is attractive to that listener, generally put it together with more than one person involved. And if you can get everybody in the same room, even better.
Right.
So, and then we'll go a step further, because I mean, the three of these guys have an association that goes back many years now.
Friends.
Yes. And it makes a big difference when you have a connection, because then you also have trust. You feel like everyone's invested a certain kind of a way, and then you can have fun with it. And I feel like the fun has been missing in a lot of music for a lot of years. It's just been something that's just been kind of go through the motions kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And this was not that. And you can tell it was not that because they were all together. And it makes a difference.
You know, one of the things that I happened to be watching Timberland stream one night, and I was surprised, but at the time, and this is before the album came out, I was surprised that he kept saying to a lot of people, "Hey, you need to go collaborate with somebody else. You need to go collab with people." He just kept giving people that critique, like, "You're cool, but you need to go collab." And then once I heard this album and I heard how they processed it, because I could imagine, I never imagined that Pusha T and Malice wouldn't be in the studio together, but they were like flying over to Paris to go see Pharrell, right? So, talk about the importance of collaboration and what that brings to music.
Genuine collaboration, it's an opportunity to brainstorm. It's an opportunity to it's almost like it's an artistic level of A&Ring. Without the idea of an immediate shutdown, bad idea or good idea. You can have 3 different MCs listening to the same track, and you get 3 different perspectives on how you should approach it. And usually it's meeting somewhere in the middle that you can get the best of all of it. Sometimes I think, like with artists, especially when we start looking at really the new digital age of music, I call it the microwave music era, because it's a rush to just be the first to get it out. It's just a rush, and like true creativity shouldn't always be rushed, and the collaborative process slows things down a little bit. And in slowing things down, you get a chance to catch things a little differently. You get maybe you'll hear an instrument in the track differently than you would have just, oh, I just gotta hurry up and get this written down because it's deadlines and I gotta hop on a plane. I gotta, like, it's not just a contrived version of yourself,
Right?
And the other piece to it is, again, when all the artists involved on the song feel like they believe in the song, it translates in its recording. The energy translates from the room. That's why, like, all of those classic albums we love together, they were always studio parties.
Right.
Always a lot of people in the studio, or it was never a thing about just one engineer, one artist, go. Like, it was everyone's, whoever had an interview about a great song that they did, they would talk about the people who were in the studio.
Right. So, famously, for those who know me, you know, I always got to bring a historical perspective. One of the most famous songs that was written that way was "Got to Give It Up" with Marvin Gaye. He literally had a party inside of while he was recording it.
Classic album, classic cut, classic. Okay, so because the thing is, a lot of the times artists want their music to be included in the soundtrack of everybody's life.
Right.
So if that part of the soundtrack is the party aspect of their life, then you can't sound like you're not excited about a party. The best way to be excited about a party is to be at a party while you're recording the song for the party. So I think that's been a thing, and I think the technology has been a gift and a curse. Gift in that, you know, yes, it creates conveniences a certain kind of a way, but it's become the protocol,
right?
And so when you do that, it's kind of like when you have a kid and you want to give them everything that you didn't have, but in the mix of giving them everything that you didn't have, you forget to kind of give them some of the important things too that you did get.
Right. You spoil them.
Yeah.
I know a little bit about that.
You know, you gotta let your kids get a little bit of the struggle too. You gotta let your kids get, you know, they gotta get grounded sometimes. They gotta get some of the hard part too.
You know, that's a good point, because I gave my son Jordans from day one, right?
Mm.
And do you know they were expensive, even in the baby feed?
Yeah.
And so by the time he got to high school, he was like, didn't care about the Jordans. I would get him like, because by the time you get into high school, they were like a $150, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he would just like dirty him. Like it was nothing. I was
Mm.
like, I'm not buying you no more Jordans, bro.
Mm.
Because you don't even care. So I think you make a good point. One of the things that I discovered, on my on my road to being an MC was the physical nature of being an MC, right? Of just rapping.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about that. And I really saw it on display when the Clipse did their Tiny Desk concert. And at the end of it, spoiler alert for those who haven't seen it yet, but if you haven't seen it, then that's on you.
Yeah.
But one of the most exciting part about that concert was at the end where they had the drummer just beating on the desk, right?
Mm.
The grinding beat, boom, boom,
Mm-hmm.
boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
And Malice and Pusha T was still rapping, and you could see just the physical nature of just the rapping, right? Talk about that physical attribute of just being a lyricist.
I think a lot of us, older ones of us anyway, started at the lunchroom tables.
Right.
The first time I rapped in front of anybody, that was it. High school, banging on it. They were banging on the tables.
That was me. Yeah. I was a table banger.
and you were an important part of what made that work. Okay.
Yes.
Because raps just don't sound the same without some kind of drum pattern behind it a lot of the time. So everybody would pay $1 to rap, and whoever had the freshest rap got all the dollars.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of like how we did it. And my first time rhyming was in an environment like that, and I won some dollars that day.
Yeah.
I fell in love with hip hop on that day when I realized I can be fresh. I got some money, and all the cheerleaders wanted to kick it after the fact.
Exactly.
Popular, money, women. And when that would just become such an incredibly intertwined theme in hip hop rap music all these years later still.
The first motivation.
Right. And and I was just the honor roll kid. I didn't fit the profile of what a rapper might look like coming out of LA in the early 90s that day. So I think the importance of lyricism or the banging on the lunchroom tables and that element, I think what's important about that is there's no gimmicks from a production standpoint to distract the listener. It's really just the words and the rhythm, words and the rhythm, words and the rhythm, and your delivery of that. Because sometimes it's not always the words, it's just the way the words are said.
Exactly.
They'll do it too. And those are all important things that go into your songwriting. At least they become important parts of my songwriting process.
Please say that again.
Words and rhythms and rhythms and words. It's an important part of the songwriting process. And then, though I feel that I see less of it these days, being able to freestyle and being able to really just spit off the top of your head, like that was a top tier skill set. So you're basically rapping a whole song, and all of it got to be fresh, and nothing was ever written down or memorized or any of that. And you had to do it, and the goal was you wanted to be able to get like that acknowledgement from the room and everybody that was around there. Okay. So and then you size up your competition.
Mm-hmm.
And figure out how to be better than them the next time around. Everybody wants to get the dollars.
All right, let me ask you this question because we're going to slide into the production part of the discussion. Here's what I didn't know. I'm in such a bubble because I'm always at the club that I forgot where people listen to music.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, I literally forgot. And so, what one thing that this album did for me, and I want to know how you felt about it, because you're not the club guy, but you do listen to music in other spaces. First, tell us what spaces you like to listen, so that our listeners and our viewers can understand. Because sometimes they're producers, and they could kind of be stuck in a bubble like myself. And I'll always talk to them about understanding where the music is being heard, right? The delivery, how people are listening to it, right? So talk about the different spaces that you listen to music, because for me, listening to this album, it's not a club record, but I still wanted to enjoy it. And I had to rediscover different places where people listen to music.
Yeah. I listened to this album on the couch
Mm-hmm.
in a room lit up much like this. So there's your mood lighting for it. Headphones, not big speakers, but like good noise canceling headphones. And because I knew this was going to be a lyricist album,
Mm.
I knew that I didn't want to miss the words.
Mm.
So, and a lot of the times when you listen to an album, you give it like the skim through the first time through. Like, I heard a verse on this one. I heard a verse, because everybody just wants to be able to get to the end of it and be able to talk about it without necessarily experiencing the experience. And I'd be like, that's cheating it. It's like, why would you pay the money to go watch a movie in the theater and, and then like try to
skip to the credits, to the credits,
skim this part, and this just to say that you saw some parts of it that you can latch onto and talk about. Like, I listened to this particular project intentionally in a space like that because I knew what I was getting into. But generally speaking, it's in the car for me. Generally speaking, is in the car. And what I found so enjoyable about this album is that it's just the perfect soundtrack to drive to. It's just the perfect soundtrack to drive to. And I think, and I feel like there was a period of time in urban music where music was programmed for people to drive to. And I mean, even it was celebrated in vehicles, backseat of the Jeep, and like, yo, you had to have a Jeep if you really wanted to be hip hop for a minute. You know what I mean? Or, or early SUV models and stuff like that. Like, it was really about like people were spending crazy money on systems in their car, and it was about like driving, really being able to feel the music as you drove. And I never forgot that. I feel like for me that's the most, that's one of the spaces that I listen to it the most. And it's, if I can't be moved when I'm listening to it in the car, then, because most club records will be okay in the car,
right?
Okay, but most lyricist records will not be okay in the club. But it doesn't mean that it doesn't. Most of them, from a production standpoint, are not programmed in the same way that production is programmed for intentionally created club records. Sometimes it works.
But the only way a club record works in a car is if, and while I'm talking, there it is. Your camera came back in focus. Is if you're willing to twerk in the car, then you're looking like this. And for those on the radio, just imagine me going up and down like, So yeah, like club records don't do well in the car. They don't. But I like the way you said that, because I was coming home from the club last week, and oh my God, it felt so good. I didn't drink, so I knew everything was gonna be okay. But it's like I still don't want to be pulled over. Yeah. So a lot of times I'll play the music really low. Last week I played that loud, loud, like, and you just want to put your hand your hand on the steering wheel, and just 90s style, just like boom, boom, because you just know that bass is just pounding. You know what I'm saying? And you just go, just like hell yeah.
Yep.
Put your other arm outside the window and just be like,
yep.
You know what I'm saying? The police pull me over. It's okay. I'm sober.
I'm making a little noise, and I'll take the noise violation. And then you got, like it's a summer night while you're doing it too. So like the temperature's just right. Yep.
Yeah. That's what I wrote in my piece. I was like, they just knew the right tempo to go because they knew and understood who their audience is and how their audience is listening to them.
Yeah.
And it's like they just went in. It's like, okay, yeah, like for me, when I make a club beat, I know that I want them to either two-step or I want them to twerk. And I know how to make it. And I think that was the genius of all of them as a collective group, was to like create a record where they knew like, okay, this is how people gonna be listening to it, and this is how they want to feel.
Yep. Again, very intentional, and that doesn't happen without collaboration. They all have to communicate with each other, in order to make things happen a certain kind of way. And it wasn't just this. I don't think this time it was, all right, Pharrell, let me get your throwaway beats. I don't believe that that's what happened with this project at all. As you said earlier, they sat there and watched them put the beats together on this.
Right.
So
let me ask you this. You talked about listening to, and I know I'm getting like really minute, but I thought it was interesting. You talked about listening to in your headphones and the mood, like setting the mood. Is that a lyricist thing, or is that just a general music kind of situation?
I just think it was a me thing.
Okay.
I don't think it's the case for all artists that are, more inclined toward lyricism. I don't think that that's necessarily the case for everyone like that. I think that's just the case for me. But I'm a male Cancer, so we like a comfortable space. We like our spaces to feel homey, even if it's not at home. We just want a comfortable feel, and because we're also distracted easily sometimes too. So it's I think that's just more an MC Jonny T thing.
It's just a technical question. How for lyricists is ear candy a thing, or is it a like, man, it's a distraction? Like I don't need things flying through.
It depends on what the ear candy is and how frequent it is. If it accents a specific lyric in the song, if it like easiest example of that, which became overused, someone will make a reference to someone getting shot and then you hear the gunshot in the background. Okay. Or like the censor marks in the songs, those sound effects and stuff, or this back in the day, reverse scratch backs, or a record scratch and play over the muted lyric. I know that some people will be like, oh, that just messes up the structure of the song. But I like those things.
Okay.
I personally like those things because also I feel like, and I'm speaking for only myself as a lyricist, sometimes I feel like you want to allow the listener to fill in the blank.
Okay.
And you can also kind of guide them to kind of what you want them to put in the blank without actually saying it. And then it also is in email marketing, they want you to use like different kinds of title captions in the email title to break the scroll. So you'll see a bunch of headlines in your Gmail, and then you'll see one that's got like emojis in it. It breaks the scroll a little bit. So when you hear those kind of sound marks in the record, it kind of breaks the scroll from a listening perspective, in my opinion.
All right. No, that's good. That's good. I like that. That's good for me because I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, because you got an album coming out that I'm working on, and all right, okay. Yeah. So duly noted. Okay. The last thing that I wanted to talk about is cultural relevance. Um, and I really wanted you to dive deep on how you feel like how relevant is this album going to be? Is it going to? Do you think it's going to last, or do you think it's going to be a moment and then it's going to probably fade? Like they're projecting the first week sales to be about 90,000, and it'll probably go number 4 in the top 200. I was looking at the charts today, and I mean, they still got Good Kid, Mad City in the top 200.
Yeah.
Is it? Do you think it's going to be an album like that, or is it going to be, a good feeling album for 25, and then 26 we kind of forget about it?
Okay. And when you ask that question, in my head, I'm thinking about what the big album was for 25. I'm sorry, for 24, which was Kendrick. And we saw and we saw what happened with that album. And that album is clearly going to be one of those culturally relevant albums for many years to come.
Yes.
Without question. The year before, the big album was Killer Mike. Okay? And and it won the Grammy, and we had conversations about that via the Hip Hop Organics early episodes in the Archives podcast about why that album was so important at that time and what it meant. I feel like this Clipse album is a ripple effect from that Killer Mike album. And Kendrick being a lyricist as well, I feel like this Clipse album is also a ripple effect from that as well too. And Kendrick spit on this Clipse album too. He got on and he did his thing on that album too. So I don't believe this. And I could be wrong. I don't know that it's going to be the type of album that'll end up in the Grammy conversation like those last 2 albums did with Kendrick and Killer Mike. But if the numbers do a certain amount of activity, it just might. I don't know that it'll be the type of album that we'll be talking about in another year with the same type of enthusiasm that we would talk about Kendrick's album. But I do believe for those people, I believe this album is going to be a template album for a lot of music creators. So in the music creator world, I believe that it will be an album that's spoken about for that reason. In vain, to the same way as the first Nas album was spoken about, and it was a template album for so many MCs after the fact. And
do you think that more MCs, because here's another album that dropped that same week, and it's not the same kind of conversation, but what's that kid's name from Texas? The one that they dissed. My mind just blanked.
Asking the wrong guy.
Hold on. Let me go to the Google machine.
Go ahead and fire that machine
Rapper from, oh my God, Houston, Texas. When I say it, you're gonna be like, oh man. And Travis Scott. There you go.
Oh man. So go ahead. Yeah.
Do you think people are going to look at this album and say, you know what, I could do hip hop. Or are they still going to try to find some kind of new way to catch a wave and try to do, the analytical, kind of like, okay, let me figure it out this way because everybody's doing it this way, so I'm gonna do it this way?
I don't know that it'll have that effect. I think it'll appeal to people who are just already truly authentically into hip hop, just to hip hop music as a whole, whether they create it or they just listen to it. I think it'll have its attractive quality for both of those types of listeners for 2 different types of reasons. But I do believe if this becomes an adopted template album, I do believe it's gonna push people to strengthen the muscle on their pen a little bit more. And I think that's a good thing. For a long time, I can speak for myself, complaining about like God, quality of what people are saying is just garbage right now. Like
Right.
dude, like if like you don't even have rappers anymore. They're like pharmacists, and every new song there's a new prescription for people to be overdosing on and all of that kind of stuff. Like for a minute, it just went through like this awkward stage of just darkness and just what I would just call nonsensical banter. Just it makes no fucking sense. Somebody. Oopsie.
Make a great beat, quote with a great phrase, right?
Yeah, just nothing to it. But I feel like the course of rap over the last couple of years,
Shake your booty, girl. Let your thing breathe. Yeah, but it works.
I'm so, but to my knowledge, I don't know if that particular artist has anything sitting in the charts today, or if it was
Sexy Red.
I don't know if it's a flash.
But nah, Sexy Red stay on the charts.
Okay, all right, because I don't be paying attention to everything. I do know she be at wrestling a lot though. She's a wrestling fan. She be there NXT. She be there a lot.
Oh, so, there you go.
Yeah, so I know that much. That's like I'm like she at wrestling a lot, and I don't know if she's in the studio anymore. So but then again, here's my take on that as well too. One of the things that was super attractive about rap music for this one particular window of time a long time ago is that there were different types of albums that were available for different types for people who are listening to find something different in each of the rap records. So long time ago, back in the 1900s, where you can go to these stores that only sold music,
right?
They had this section where it was only the singles, right?
Mm-hmm.
And on that wall, you could find all kinds of rap records. And I'm talking like you could have a conscious Public Enemy sitting next to an NWA single, sitting next to a Naughty by Nature single, sitting next to Big Daddy Kane, sitting next to Ice-T, sitting next to, like, it was a mix of all of it. And you can go and browse and pick whatever. Everyone got the same billing in the store. And
right.
You go in and you can pick whatever spoke to you a certain kind of a way. And it was, in my opinion, there was balance. And right. I feel like over the last 15 years or 20 years, it's been less about the focus on balance and more about what's a trend.
I don't even think people browse anymore. When the last time have you just browsed?
It's overwhelming too, because it's too much content to browse through and to consume anymore. You know, I mean, if there were still music stores that I was going to,
but you already paid for it. You already got Apple, you already got Spotify, you paid your monthly fee, might as well browse, right?
And I couldn't do it. It's just too much to look through. Even when you went to the record store, it wasn't 7 million songs to browse through at that time. So
especially in the hip hop section.
No, like there was like 40
ABC, and then DEF. It wasn't all categorized.
Yeah,
it wasn't all A's. A ton of B's. Like, oh man, it's too many B's. I'm not going through the B's today. I'm just gonna.
But to me, that was part of what made music special, was also kind of doing that part of it, or being like, oh, I didn't know this person dropped something new. I ain't seen the video on Rap City yet. I wonder what it sounds like. So like there was like that piece to it as well too. And so I just think balance is super important, and I hope that with releases like Killer Mike, releases like Kendrick last year, releases, I'm gonna drop the nod to Pete Rock and Common, because that was my personal favorite album of 2025, and I'm so excited about Auditorium 2 coming real soon. I'm waiting for them to drop the second one.
Okay.
And they were contenders for the Grammy as well too. So when we starting to see that there's room, and those guys aren't teenagers or in their early 20s or early 30s. These are folks that for a minute, and I'm so glad they didn't buy into the narrative of, oh, you too old to do rap. Hey,
Right.
I'm so glad that they didn't buy into that, and they didn't, because you're never too old to create something dope.
Right.
Period.
Let me ask you this. And then I'm gonna ask you this question in terms of cultural relevance, and then I'm gonna give you my conspiracy theory, because we're coming up to time. But first of all, I want to thank you before I ask you the question, I want to thank you for coming through. I appreciate it. I know you're a busy guy. You got a lot of things to do. You're running a Hip Hop Organics, which is a media company. You're also running Audio Juice, which is a distribution company. And so I just want to let you know I appreciate your time, and hopefully my listeners and my viewers also appreciate the perspective that you're giving from someone who's actually actively an executive, not just an artist, but you're an executive in this industry. So I did feel like, and I still feel like your perspective is important. I mean, I definitely learned some things today.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Hey, no problem. Let's talk about the Grammys. Now the Grammys, especially now, they're no longer just, it's like they don't have like the EDM guys voting for hip hop anymore.
Right.
Okay. It's not based on sales or anything like that. It's based purely on your peers. You have to actually be in the industry. You're not fans. And now you have to be in the hip hop genre in order to vote. Do you think, especially because you have the Kendrick people on their side and the Drake people on their side, so they're not going to vote each other, do you think the Clipse, and I don't think the Drake people are going to vote for the Clipse either, but do you think enough people will say, you know what, this is the consensus album of 2025. We're going to vote for this one because we're too tired of Kendrick. Like, he got the Super Bowl, he got everything else. And I think Kendrick might be happy at that. Do you think people might end up doing that?
Depends on the voters. I know a couple of voting members on there, and I think that they're a little more objective. So I really believe I think it just depends on the pool of people and how objective they are. I believe that it'll happen, though. I believe that it can happen. It's these kind of projects don't come through without it sending a ripple effect through the pulse of the hip hop culture. And if we've got people specifically voting for hip hop, like DJ Premier is one of those voting members, as an example, who's got his finger on the pulse of all things hip hop. When I think of people like that in that space, and they're in different regions and they're doing different things, it's not fans only, and it's not necessarily executives who have skin in the game for the Universal artist to win versus the Sony artist to win. And in the case of the situation with Kendrick and Drake, well, they're both Universal artists. So win either way. Let's vote for the guy who's not suing us right now. So
right.
So I don't think that that's going to be something that would hinder that element of progress with the voting process for that.
Okay. The last thing, I have a conspiracy theory. I shared it with you before. And I want you to publicly, I'm going to tell everybody my conspiracy theory, and I want you to react to it. My conspiracy theory is that this is the one album that will make Jay-Z come out of retirement. Like, I think he had to hear it because it's out on Rock Nation. Yeah. So of course he heard it because he has a good relationship with the Clipse, both of them. Yeah, I think he has crazy respect for Malice, which that's what I think. Going back to the Grammy thing, I think people will vote for this album because everybody appreciates Malice. Because what I've heard along with all the commentary, is that everybody's like Malice was the MVP on this album.
Yeah.
He did such a great job, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I think that they could win the Grammys. I think Kendrick will probably still win everything else, but the Grammys, I think, will go to this album. Now, I think that Jay-Z heard this album and was probably freestyling on every song.
And now he's ready to call up Pharrell and get back in the mix.
Call up Pharrell, call up Young Guru, call up the whole crew. He might even call up DJ Quick.
That would be great for the Quickster, that's for sure.
Look,
I think if Jay decided he wanted to do another album again, and this is the thing that pushed him to do it, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case, because he's kind of, he's in with those folks. I wouldn't be surprised, but I also feel like Jay's the kind of person that's like, if I'm going to do an album, then I'm going to do everything to support it and do the tours and do all the stops. And I just kind of think that maybe he just doesn't want to do that part of it anymore.
He can piggyback off his really famous wife.
And he may not want to do that anymore either, because they've been out on the road together before.
Or he could piggyback off his very famous and talented daughter.
I know, right? Or he can just drop something and just be like, I did it because I just wanted to drop it. And if I go out, I go out. And if I don't, I don't. I don't
want a single.
No, I don't. I think he would do a project, but I mean, like he retired like 20 years ago before he came back a year later.
He needs to do a full 10 to 13 song album. Don't make it long. You know what I'm saying? Go get all your producer guys, if they're still out there. The one
Steve.
name that everybody's like pissed off is escaping me right now. But why am I forgetting all these names? Timberland. Yes, go get Timberland.
Dude, everybody's mad at Timberland right now.
They are.
Everybody's mad at Timbo. God.
Go get Swizzy. I know. The reason why I have this theory is because I think everybody that is anybody has heard this album. They heard it early. And I think this album, if you're a lyricist, you want to rap. Yeah. If you do beats,
you want to outbeat those beats. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's no way that this album can come out and somebody like Jay-Z is just gonna let this one pass. You gonna let this one pass?
That would be a bad move. That would be a bad move on this part. Now, it's not out of the range of possibilities. It's not out of the range of possibilities. It would be great to see that. And, he's good for releasing generally that fourth quarter, and it doesn't take him long to put it together. So he can still get that bad boy out, October, November.
Yeah. I'll take it in 26. So, all right, well, listen, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. I want to thank everybody for either listening on the radio, Power 975 LA, or watching this live on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. I want to thank everybody who came through. And let's give a big round of applause for MC Jonny T. Yeah. All right. It's one of those things I got to figure out is how to do the sound effects
and air horns and all of that. Yeah,
exactly. All right, y'all, listen up. This is your boy DJ Mad Scientist, and this is Power 97.5 LA on the iGlobal Radio app. If you haven't done so already, please download the app from your favorite app store. You can get it from Amazon, you can get it from Google, or you can get it from Apple. Okay, I will see y'all next week where we're going to get back into production. I think we're talking about, I don't know, I'll look it up. MC Jonny T, you got to send off in 15 seconds.
Oh, I do.
Oh, go ahead.
Like to thank you guys for tuning in, listening to my man, the Mad Scientist. Until next time, so long from MC Jonny T, reminding all of you that at the end of the day,
it's night.
You're damn right. It's night.
All right. Freeze frame. Freeze frame.